Welcome to Win With Barlow, the podcast where we turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality. With your host, Akira Barlow. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of DNA testing businesses. Looking to maintain momentum or ready to scale? This series is your guide to success. Let's get started.
Emily, how are you doing? I'm good. Busy, but I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain. Hope you are doing well wherever you are. If you are not, man, just keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. I've been there, but I know what God can do. Okay. So, y'all, welcome back to another audio learning lesson. Today, we are going to be talking about hiring collectors, scaling your business, adding people to your team to collect for you. I think it'll be a pretty good episode. So let's jump into it. If you're new here, welcome to the fam. It's Akira Barlow. I'm your host, and I represent Win With Barlow, where I help people start profitable DNA testing businesses. All right. So, yes, adding people to your team, hiring collectors, all of that. What does that look like? So, y'all know I freestyle these things, right? There is no script. All right. So, for me, the first thing that I look for is an area that is not like overpopulated with the service. So that's the first thing that I do. I start by like canvassing an area in which I want to show up for my business because I have recognized that this business does extremely well in an area that doesn't have a lot of options. So that's always what I'm looking for. And then I'm looking for people who don't want to start their own business. Like automatically, I'm looking for people who are intrigued by this business and people who are um empathetic, I could say, because it does take a little bit of like people are going through all sorts of situations with these tests. So you do have to have a listening ear. So you do have to have just a slight level of compassion because you are going to have to hear these stories out as you're booking people for your service. So I'm looking for someone that can be caring but not nosy, but you get what I'm saying, right? Caring but not nosy. Like that just kind of sums it up. And I'm always looking for pretty much like people who are not self-starters and actually want to do this. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just keeping it real because you have to in this, as a business owner, you don't want to hire people who want to do exactly what you do because, it could complicate a lot of things. So I look for people who are just, excited to be able to be a part of the team who, is good with just collecting. Usually I'm looking for maybe travel nurses, my medical assistants. They love to do it. In my area, there is like a center that teaches phlebotomy and other like, you know, classes like CNA classes and like medical related classes. So I go there a lot to recruit a lot of the girls to work for me because it gives them something to do right away. It also helps them be able to test out their experience, especially if they're a new phlebotomist. So I love to kind of hire from there people who are just ambitious. When I hire people and bring them on, I'm just showing them the process of collecting. I'm not showing them any business background information. I'm just showing them how to collect the sample and assemble the sample and send it off. Like literally, that is it. Depending on the location and the area, we pay our collectors anywhere from $70 to $100, up sometimes a little bit more than that, just depending on the type of collection. Of course, if it's something like a non-invasive prenatal DNA test, of course they get paid a lot more because the test ranges, anywhere from $1,400 to $2,000 in some markets. So it's important for me to find people who, have something else kind of going on too. So like retired teachers, my travel nurses, my medical assistants, my phlebotomists, my girls like that are coming out of school, like those type of people, because this is kind of like motion for them to have something extra and they're not relying on it to pay their bills, right? So it doesn't make me feel compelled to have to over deliver as I have in previous businesses just to try to make sure everybody is eating. So that's that. Now, when I'm searching for people to collect, I'm usually going to use a third party like service. One of my good friends has a staffing and recruiting agency, so oftentimes I'll just give her a call, kind of let her know what I'm looking for, and because she is in the medical field, she can, get it done herself. She's a pharmacist, so she has medical experience. So that kind of has helped me be able to break grounds with so many different connections too. I'll leave her information in the description box so that you can kind of check out her staffing agency if there's something you may be interested in. Of course, you can use, Indeed.com, you can use Monster.com, whatever, is out there that you feel like is a, you know, easy way for you to be able to track some applicants, then I would do it and basically just kind of explaining that it is kind of like a, you know, freelance kind of like opportunity. They'll kind of like be on call and, be able to, request additional days because I do allow them to be able to say, hey, here I'm off from work on this particular week for vacation. So I'm free, blah, blah, blah. So they can always request more traffic. And usually based on where I have them positioned, I just market heavily in those areas, whether I'm running ads in the area, whether I'm in the newspaper, whether I am um running a radio ad, whatever is necessary for that particular market, I'm doing that to drive traffic there so that, it could be profitable. So that's that portion of it. So on the back end, as far as like partners, I know a lot of you have been asking me, you've seen in the past where I bring partners on to my DNA testing business and people are able to process their collections under my company. So that means that they don't have to go partner with a lab. We basically allow them to use our lab connection. So we provide them with everything they need to be able to service their clientele. The issue that I ran into with this is that I realized that bringing on new DNA testing companies for this opportunity requires some level of training and mentorship. And because of that, it's something that I can't 100% commit to in this chapter of my business, in my life. So unfortunately, you know, can't bring people on that are like new because of that reason. So I have literally been just telling people go ahead and just directly partner with the lab and just take, what's what I'm giving, as much as you can until I'm able to drop our mentorship, which is coming really soon. I promise you, I'm just kind of formulating a curriculum so that it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And then also mentorship is a little bit advanced. Because really even when I'm giving these podcast episodes and when I'm sharing these episodes on YouTube, this is really kind of like the surface. And it's all about, of course, the direction in which you want to take your business. So you may not want to hire people. Some of you may. For me, it was like a no-brainer. I had to duplicate me. I had to be making way more money than that. Like I needed to, add some help to the team so that, we can see more revenue. So that was the whole point, of course, in creating, additional collectors. Now, for my actual team of collectors, um, they are paid once a month. They're paid, of course, they're 1099. So they're paid once a month. They are paid direct deposit. I do have like a tiered kind of process for them. So they're able to make more money. So they're actively selling on, because of course this is intriguing. Of course I have marketing material for them to be able to market as well on their own. So if they're bringing in clients of their own, I do allow more of, a higher collection fee because it just only makes sense. So I've had some collectors that literally would be doing, 6 7 tests a week easily on their own outside of my initial marketing efforts. So once I realized that, I kind of put a spin on it, kind of creating a tiered system. I do conference calls and Zoom calls with them to kind of keep everybody like engaged and we share strategies amongst each other that may be working for each person individually. And of course, I acknowledge people who are, doing, amazing things for us in the business. So that's what that looks like. So let's switch gears again, kind of on this. So when you're hiring your collectors to work for you, you are considering the direction in which you want to take your business. And I say that because, you know, you don't want to hire someone to be a DNA collector, because I get people all the time that say, "Hey, I got a cousin that's here, and then I got my mom lives here, my aunt lives here, and so I want to, bring them on as collectors." But as a brand new business, I would say pace it. I wouldn't say hire someone like literally straight out of the gate. If I was brand new starting this business, I would just hire a phlebotomist if I didn't have a phlebotomy certification. If I did have one, I wouldn't hire anybody. I would just grind this thing out with just me solo dolo, so that you can get a feel of your business, so that you can, build that brand awareness, because a lot of the first initial 3 months of this is marketing, it's visibility, it's getting people to trust you, because mind you, they got to give you their DNA, they got to trust you. So it's like you got to show up in that first. I would kind of put my initial focus onto that instead of, trying to share my money with somebody, to be quite honest. So it's up to you. Now, if you have a 9 to 5, if you're working and you want to just hire someone, you want to start this business and just hire someone to be your collector while you work your 9 to 5, totally understandable, because you absolutely can do that. As a DNA testing agency, you're able to set your own hours, which I absolutely love. So if you do work a 9 to 5, you can still do this before you go to work, after you get off work, on your off day, on the weekends. You can literally just schedule the appointments on your off day. People call, just say, "Hey, look, we're booked, right? This is my first availability," which will be your first off day. So that is a way. I do put my collectors under a non-compete agreement as well as an NDA, just because it protects our business. Our non-compete agreement does range typically from 3 to 6 months, just depends. I've had some collectors that I brought on that have been extremely ambitious, and I have just recognized that this is something that they can build for their family on their own. So I have encouraged them to go and start their own business, right? Because I feel like that's necessary, because this is such an easy thing to do, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to run a DNA testing business and actually how to perform the service. Like, it's not hard at all. It's a lot of just marketing. Also, when you're hiring, people, adding people to your team, deciding when you're going to pay them and how you're going to pay them, that's all up to you. Y'all ask me all the time, like, how much should I pay them? When should I pay them? How? It's kind of up to you. I know that some people like to pay out every week, and I did start out paying people every single week because I felt like it was very enticing and it would keep them excited and on board. But it just got too much to handle as far as like outsourcing it and keeping up with it. I just wanted to, look, y'all just do it once a month, done, right? And that's really good. People love receiving a nice little paycheck on the first day of the month. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that would work, and it does. Also, when you're choosing people to bring onto your team that live in different locations, you're going to have to send the supplies out to them. So, if they do have a test, you are going to have to make sure that they have the, supplies to be able to perform the test. And I do enjoy having multiple collectors in different states, because it allows us to be able to perform this service for multiple people in multiple areas, which is a huge turn on for our customers. So if a father is in Georgia and the daughter is going to school in, say, University of Texas, I can get somebody there to actually collect for me on my behalf. So being able to say that I have multiple collectors in different areas is very appealing to the client base, because we're not just confined to just having all three parties in one physical location in order to get this test done. So that is a major plus for us, and it brings in a lot of clientele. And believe it or not, a lot of our clients are like that. A lot of people have been seeing me on social media, and our sales have been going through the roof because I've been selling home DNA kits to them, and we've been doing DNA tests in, various locations because of, the fact that I have collectors in multiple states. So definitely give it a thought. Like, know that that is something that you do want to grow your business to, because I do think that it makes it much more impactful, and it helps you to be able to, make more money, of course. So definitely give it a thought. plan out a strategy, plan out a strategy that you feel like will work best for you as far as like what the financial aspect of it will look like. But for the most part, I think that it's a must in most DNA testing business that you hire and bring on additional collectors to your team. So that's my take on it. Hope it was helpful. Hope it was insightful. I'll see you in the next audio learning session.